So where do we start when it comes to protecting our inbound email and our outbound email for that matter? Well, really all things revolve around the Security and Compliance Center in Office 365. So when I log in here, we're going to go over to Admin Centers and we're going to go down to Security and Compliance. You could also get here by going to protection.office.com. Now I'm an admin, so you have to be an admin to be able to log into this. And then when I go into Threat Management, this is where I can configure policy. So I have some different policies that are available to me. This is not everything. Eventually, we're going to have more in here, but these 6 policies we're going to start with, and then I'll show you where you can configure some additional ones. So the first one I want to talk about is domain keys, or DKIM. And so what DKIM allows you to do is basically, in a nutshell, prevent somebody from spoofing by using a digital signature, by basically, and this is taking a moment to load there, by using a digital signature in the email message, and by basically encrypting the header in that message so that it becomes not impossible, but pretty darn expensive to be able to spoof. And so to set this up, it's actually pretty straightforward, and this is where someone like Agile IT can help you through the process to make sure it's seamless for you. But with DKIM, let me show you an article here that will walk you through it, and then we'll just discuss some of this and what this policy does. And so if you just go out to Bing or your favorite search engine and type in DKIM Office 365, you'll see a message that looks something like this. And this is where it'll explain what DKIM is and how it works together with your SPF records. We have a nice little diagram here around how this protects, but then what do you need to actually do this? It does require some DNS work, so you need to be able to publish a CNAME record in DNS and then enable your domain for DKIM. And then you enable a few things inside Office 365 to do that. All in all, this is a very straightforward process, but it does take a little bit of planning because you could actually shut down email flow if you do this incorrectly. So you definitely want to make sure you pay attention to what you're doing here. But when it comes to being able to protect from being spoofed, DKIM is an absolute first place to start with. Again, this is called domain keys, or DKIM for short. And it just makes sure that other email systems, so if I sent you an email, making sure that your email system can trust messages from my email system. And if it's not coming from my email system, it's not going to trust that message. And it does that by using encryption on the header of that email. In addition to, there's a public key that you actually publish out there in the public. And so when you receive my email, you're using that public key to decrypt that message header. And then from there, it will allow you to understand whether or not that message has been spoofed or trusted. Unfortunately, there's not a way for me to really demo this. To the end user, it's seamless. They wouldn't know, right? So if I send you an email and I'm using DKIM, or you send me an email and you're using DKIM, there's no way for me as a recipient to know. It's all seamless to me. It's just I use Outlook or my favorite mail app, and I can read my email as I normally would. If my company uses DKIM, I can send email just as I normally would. All of this occurs on the back end. And of course, this is included with Office 365. So there's no extra fee, no extra charge here for DKIM. It's just something I have to go in and configure. By default, this is not enabled. So keep this in your back pocket if you have a problem with spoofing, or if you think you might have a problem with spoofing. Take a look at DKIM. Certainly reach out to Agile IT as well, and Sean here, and we could see how we can work with you guys on getting this set up. But this is that first line of defense, as I would call it, as you start to protect against phishing attacks or attacks where somebody wants to spoof an email address. You'll commonly find this when somebody tries to spoof like the CEO of the company. So to Sean's example, I could spoof Conrad, CEO of Agile IT. Makes it look like it's coming from Conrad. It's coming from the Agile IT domain, but it's not really Conrad. It's an attacker. It's Matt. And then you would actually never know. And so using DKIM actually allows you to prevent that from happening. So keep this in your back pocket. DKIM is extremely powerful. I could spend all day talking about this and going really deep on how this works, but I only have a few minutes with you guys. But this is one of the things I wanted to bring up.